a thinking nation. I'm sorry. We're not. Some of you need to sit down and listen to the Singapore leaders. They're thinking people. Singapore people, they would take Singapore money and go and invest it in India. Even this Venezuela everybody's complaining about. There was a time Venezuela was refining their oil in America and they owned petrol stations in America. It was bad governance that pulled out that back. They were doing that well. But when you put in that human element, this is what happens. So thinking, and haven't of you heard Pastor Bade? Pastor Bade said, my job is to help Yoruba people think. It's such a simple thing. And there's this old video, TED Talk video. The guys, he was talking to some kids, and one of them, it's called Ashesi University. One of the kids in Ashesi said, I'm thinking now. The Bible says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. One translation says, let God change the way you think. Because God thinks. It says, my thoughts are not your thoughts. Isn't that obvious that he thinks? I don't know why we think. We just don't think. One of the biggest challenges people face is this ability not to think long term, always thinking short term. And so this thing about think, build, and then personalize, we want to stop this vision from being about church because people think it is. And unfortunately, that's the way many churches are. And not that they're doing what they're doing is bad, but we are called to do something different. What they're doing is necessary. Am I making sense? But what we are called to do is necessary. You're going to see that in my message. And I'm going to hurt one or two people this morning because sometimes you get into a place and there's nothing but trouble. And what you are trying to do is escape the trouble, forgetting that maybe that's the reason why you are in the kingdom. For that reason. I don't know why people don't think about that. They say, wait a minute, this place is bad. Why did you? I remember the vice president told us a story one time. He said he went to a meeting with President Tinubu. This was before when he was governor. He says when they finish the meeting in the evening, he says there will be somebody there who's drinking whiskey. There's somebody on the right who's smoking cigarettes. There'll be somebody else who is, who has girlfriends waiting for him in the lobby. And he will be sitting there and he'll be wondering, what am I doing here? He says by the time he gets home and he gets to church, his whole body is smelling of alcohol and smoke. And he said he went to God one day and said, what is all this? My church members think I smoke and drink. And God says, no, I put you there, purpose. He would never have been vice president if he hadn't stayed in that room.